Can you see it?
Yeah, you can see it. All right.
Justice for Dawntrae Williams.
All right. Here I am today, August 28, 2021. I'm with the University of Florida Samurai Registry Program, and I'm here with...
I'm Anita Harris. That's Dr. Anita Harris.
And may you explain the victim, his name, and your relationship to him?
Dawntrae Williams. I am his grandmother, and I raised him from birth.
May you explain where are you guys from, anyways?
We are from Memphis, Tennessee. He was killed in Gwinnett County, Beaufort, Georgia.
I live there. Oh, may you explain about who was he? How old was he, anyways?
He was 15. He was developmental delayed. He looked like he was about 12 years old.
Yeah. Wow. I guess what was the incident? What involved officers?
The incident about the officers there, they on December 19, 2011, I called crises. I called crises because he was at home without medication, and his therapist had made him go into an episode. So when I called crises, Officer Garrison said that he was on his way, and another officer was already at my house. Well, SWAT team heard the call, and they came to my house, and they shot in my house, all around in my house. It was 17 rounds found. We didn't know the SWAT team was out on the lawn. Dawntrae opened the door, and he looked back at me, and he was shocked for what he saw in front of him, but I had not seen yet what he was looking at. When he opened the door, like I say, he looked back at me. I was standing behind him. He had a machete. He said he was Danny Mattello, you know, the Ninja Turtles. Mm-hmm. Well, he had calmed down then. He was going for a walk. And the SWAT team said, drop the weapon. He dropped the weapon on the porch, and they opened fire and started shooting in the house. They shot him up on the porch. Then they asked for him to come down to them. He was trying to go down to them, and they were still shooting. He was dodging bullets. He hurt his ankle. He was dragging on the ground, and he fell on the yard and at the driveway. He was crying, and I tried to go to him, but the officers wouldn't let me go to him. They said it was a police investigation. Every time I tried to go to Dawntrae, they dragged me back on the end of the porch. Well, as he was lying there, the officer told me, go back in the house. He came in the house, closed the blinds, and told us not to look out. And I told him, this is my house, I can look out. So I followed him to the door. He picked up the machete off the porch and carried it down and laid it beside Dawntrae. Once he did that, they kept trying to see, was he alive? They kept seeing that he had breath. They wouldn't even let the ambulance come through. They wouldn't let the ambulance come through. And as he was lying there, he took his last breath. And when the officer swept to make sure he wasn't breathing, he called for the ambulance. The ambulance came, tried to revive him. They couldn't revive him in the yard. So they took his body and they went on to the hospital. He was dead on arrival, but they told me they had me hostage in the kitchen. And they said that they had revived him. He was in a hospital room, and the officer was standing by the door, but that wasn't true. They told me, the police told me, when I called to the police station to find out where he was, they told me I'd never see him until he's in the casket, in the morgue, going to the morgue, and then in the casket. So I called the funeral home, and I asked the funeral home, do not do anything to his body. That was the next time I saw him, and I saw the bullet holes. He had 6 bullet holes, 1 exit wound. And I had been going on with the investigation, but the district attorney, Danny Porter, he allowed the cops to, cover up for the cops and said that he was running toward them with the machete and they had a right to kill him. But he was not running at all. So the case, I'm hoping and praying that they do open the case back up soon. Justice for Dawntrae Williams.
Wow. May you explain more about the absence of him? Was the community impact he had?
The impact of the community, I can't remember where we were living, but it was in Beaufort, Georgia.
Yeah.
And everybody surrounding in the community heard the shots. And the 911 lady was fired because she said they didn't have a right to shoot him because I called crises and they override the crisis.
Wow. And any last moments you want to say to right now?
The only thing I want to say is I want all these cases that was affected by police brutality open back up and the cops be found guilty and that they be prosecuted. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. And
Justice for Dawntrae Williams.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so you want to